Good morning. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about this morning. Here we have the radar this morning, and areas of heavy rainfall are starting to develop ahead of a cold front that is currently over the southern Mid-Atlantic. This cold front will create a tremendous amount of lifting this afternoon, and as a result, produce widespread heavy rain and embedded thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the surface map. Now on the surface map, we can clearly see areas of low pressure developing to the southwest of the northern mid-Atlantic, and these low pressure systems are going to consolidate into one strong area low pressure under an equally strong upper level disturbance. The upper level disturbance in the low pressure system will move to the north towards the eastern Great Lakes, specifically towards Syracuse and then up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. And as a result, as that's happening, a cold front that is to the southwest of the region will move to the northeast and produce tremendous amount of lifting. Meanwhile, I want you to keep an eye on the low pressure system to the south of Cuba. That low pressure system is a developing tropical system that could become a tropical depression or tropical storm Nicole. But is it really tropical? I'll get to that in a moment. Here's the broad view of the water vapor for North America. And we clearly have the polar jet stream well to the north. A disturbance from the polar jet stream is breaking off and sliding down through the Mississippi River Valley towards the southeast. That disturbance is going to be very important later on in the week. Meanwhile, the current disturbance and upper level low that produced all this rainfall thus far is lifting towards the northeast, towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, and we're starting to get strong lifting as winds are coming in from the southeast at the mid levels. Let's zoom in and take a look at this lifting. Now, there are several processes developing this morning over the northern mid-Atlantic. As our upper level lows lifting to the northeast, we're developing what's called a strong low level jet stream. This is basically a jet streak or strong winds between 850 and 950 millibars. Winds are increasing up to over 40 knots, which is pretty impressive for a mid-level and low-level jet streak. Why is that important? Well, that jet streak is transporting a great deal of moisture into the New Jersey coast. Meanwhile, we have dry air in that cold front approaching from Virginia, North Carolina, and West Virginia. Now, as this dry air interacts with all this moist air at the mid levels, what happens is that you get elevated thunderstorms. Now, the reason why this is important is because when you get dry air aloft, let's say at 500 millibars, and you get moist air at the mid levels, well, with this tremendous lifting, that moist air rises up into the dry air. The dry air goes through evaporational cooling, and that cool air is like a rock. It drops towards the surface, taking with it the strong wind gusts that are developing at 850 millibars. So as a result, we could have thunderstorms moving in from the Atlantic, capable of producing wind gusts over 50 miles per hour at times. There is a slight isolated chance of a tornado with these thunderstorms, and the reason why is because you have a tremendous amount of wind shear developing with these type of thunderstorms as the air is sinking, and that can sometimes spin up a weak tornado, similar to what happened a couple weeks ago, just slightly different dynamics in wind direction, but still it's the same idea. You have dry air aloft, evaporation cooling, that cool air crashes towards the surface, and so you get these strong thunderstorms in a relatively stable environment in the low levels. So you get this severe weather outbreak that really isn't normal in an otherwise stable environment. Now, let's go down to the tropics because we have a very interesting system developing. Down in the tropics, we have a tropical disturbance starting to develop. A broad area low pressure around 1002 millibars is developing just to the south of Cuba. Now, this low pressure system right now has tropical characteristics, which means that as this disturbance continues to develop, well, it should be named a tropical depression, possibly a tropical storm. If it is named a tropical storm, it would be Tropical Storm Nicole. As this tropical storm develops and moves north, it's going to become entrained in this upper level flow that's from the south and moves to the southwest. Why is this important? Well, notice the disturbance that's over the northern plains I have circled in red. This polar disturbance is going to dive to the southeast and swing north, taking a similar track to the low pressure system we have today, towards the Great Lakes. As it's doing so, it's going to pick up this tropical disturbance, whether it's a tropical storm or a tropical depression. The point is that it's going to pick up all this moisture and the latent heat energy with this tropical system and train it into the trough. So initially it may be a tropical system, but all this dry air that's over the Gulf is going to become entrained with this system, and it will transition over to an extratropical storm, which basically is going to be a rather powerful coastal storm for Thursday over much of the northern mid-Atlantic. So New York City, Philadelphia, watch out for heavy rain on Thursday. Rainfall amounts range anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. If you're further east towards eastern Long Island, eastern Connecticut, the best dynamics is going to be to your west, but you'll still get heavy rain anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. And I still expect flash flooding throughout the entire region is going to be possible, along with some minor coastal flooding. Definitely some strong winds from the southeast, possibly from the east. The models are a little bit sketchy on whether this storm wants to curve inland like this current storm, or if it remains off the coast creating a northeast wind. But either way, you're still going to have winds sustained at 15 to 30 miles per hour with higher gusts. So basically Thursday is a very nasty day. The good news is that once all this lifts out on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, high pressure's in control. It'll be cool, but hey, it'll be dry. Thank you for using NYNJPA weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.